Options. Internal storage is one. Okay. So with internal storage, if the app gets uninstalled, all your internal files will also be deleted. That is the advantage we have with internal files. Let us look into how to write the coding for it. So let's quickly create a project. Let's choose empty activity. Let's call it internal storage. Make sure it is created in the right folder and the right settings are chosen. If you click on finish, the project gets created. Okay. I'm not really sure if I'm audible or not. Can someone respond to me in the chat to just confirm my audibility? Now for designing, I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Thank you all for responding. Akanksha, Sweta, Anuj, Hemant. Thank you. So I don't want to waste any time for the UI design. So yesterday, if you see, we have created for shade preferences, we have created a UI. I'll be using the same UI. I'll jump into main resources and then open layout, open activity underscore main.xml with notepad plus plus. This one, yeah, always right. So all this code you can copy, Control A, Control C. Once it is done, just have to come back to your project, go to your activity underscore main.xml and simply hit on split and replace this code with the code that we have copied. And also we can change this compile SDK to 33, target also to 33. Nice. Can simply hit on sync now so that the project will be synchronized. Nice. So the UI is done. Now we have to connect these elements, isn't it? For that as well, we don't need to write code here. All we need to do is jump back into the same main, choose Java, go to the package where your main activity is present, open it with Notepad++, copy these things, copy, come back to Android Studio. Where is it? Here it is. You can paste it here. Now edit text box has to be imported. Text view also needs to be imported. Again, we'll go back. So we don't need preferences, all this stuff, but we need person name, personage, person result to be connected. Nice. In the on create method, we can write it. That is fine. Also, two on click event handlers must be there. So I can copy these two methods, come back, paste them here. However, I'm going to remove these to-dos. As these are not needed, I'm going to remove the to-dos and also the code related to shade preferences. There is a need of importing this view class. I'm doing it. Again, remove these to-dos. That's of no use. As we are getting data out of the shade preferences, we don't need it. I'm removing everything in the load data method. So the setting is done. So this is our project as of now. Now, what are we supposed to do? When the user hits on the save button, I need to get the data from name and age. I need to get the data from these two edit text boxes and store it in a file. That's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, right. When save button is pressed, I am actually fetching the data. I just want to write it to a file. If you want to write data to the file, to the internal file, use file output stream. Using file output, open file output method. Open file output method and use write on top of it. So this open file output works the same way as your preferences would work. All right. How they would work? Let us see. Let us say you have a file equals to open file, open file output, because you want to write data into the file. If you want to read data, the file should be opened as an input. Hope you got the point. Okay. The first thing is the file name, my underscore file dot txt, and the mode should be private usually. Now you got this error. You can surround this statement with try catch. Okay. So this is file output stream false. Okay. What we shall do is we shall keep it here and initialize false here. Nice. Now when false is created, file output stream is created, you can actually write data into the file using write method. So fos dot write off. I want to first write name. So that is why name dot get bytes. So what does get bytes do? What does get bytes do? Simply, if you had to online compiler hello world dot get bytes, what will it do? It prints a byte array, right? This hello world will be converted to bytes and it will be printing the bytes array. If you give some format, let's say UTF-8 or something like that, the output would change a little bit. Okay. Throws unsupported encoding. That's fine. So based on the formats, usually it changes the output. I'm not able to exactly get the code. That is, I'm not able to show it. But you get the point, right? Dot get bytes would actually convert this data, whatever is present in n, as a array of bytes. An array of bytes can only be written to a file. And there is a chance of raising an exception through write also. That is why I'm handling with a single catch clause here. Now, finally, if you do not call fos.close, your changes will not be considered. I'm appending a backslash n just for the readability. Also, the same right method can be copied, pasted here. Instead of n here, you can write it as age a. Nice. Easy peasy lemon squeeze. Now, I think I'm good to run the application. Let us see. So the device just got recognized. I'm running the application. Let us see the output here. Okay. You can enter your name and age and that gets saved into your file. Age is 18, 12 years ago. So if I hit on save, the data would be saved automatically, but I'm not getting any notification. We'll add that code here. However, to see if the file is created, just have to jump into the device file explorer and you know how the path that you need to follow. When your device is selected, you can just open data, then you can jump into data again and see and check for your package name. In.Naresh Technologies dot internal storage. Go to files now. You see my underscore file dot txt because the file name is my underscore file dot txt. If you simply double tap on it, you get to see the data that is stored into the file. Okay. So moving on. So how do we read the contents? So before we move on to see how to read the contents, we will have to do some. What is this? Hmm. Uh, Okay. So before we proceed further, let us reset the. Let us just show a toast message saying that the data is saved successfully. Then we can also reset the form. So n dot, it is not n, it should be person name. Person name dot get text dot to string. Sorry, dot get text dot clear. Also person age dot get text dot clear. We can also set the focus point to person name. Person name dot focus. I forgot the method name actually. Focus dot request focus. So request focus would actually put your cursor into this person name. Yeah, Akansha is asking by both method data is stored internal to application. Correct, no? Internal to the application only, the data will be stored. Okay. That is the reason you are able to access it through the device file explorer. Otherwise, we would have been seeing the files and see if the file is created or not. So let us choose to run this application now and you will observe a difference. Let us say you enter some other name, Krishna, age 35. Now if you hit on save, the form is getting reset and the focus is taken to your name and then you also get a toast message. So this is more professional to look at, isn't it? Okay. This is to reset the form and this request focus would bring or will bring the cursor to be inside the first text box. Okay. Anyway, we got the toast message as it is and the same procedure. So you refresh this device, go to data, go into data again. In.Naresh Technologies dot shared preferences. Where is it? Not shared preferences, internal storage. Here it is. Go to files and open myfile.txt and you get Krishna 35. Nice. So let's read the contents and display it to the user. In order to read the contents, you need to have this file name handy. Otherwise, it will not be possible. Just like we have created file output stream to write something to the file, in order to read something from the file, we need to create file input stream. You can call it FIST. Initialize this FIST with open file input method. And for this, you're supposed to pass the file name that you want to open and read the contents. As usually, open file input would give you an error. Okay. So let us wait in the catch clause to handle all other errors that we get. Now reading data is so simple. First create buffered reader. Br is equal to new buffered reader of new input stream reader of FIST. Because FIS holds your input stream of the file. Once this is there, you know the standard logic that I explained already. You create a line, simply create a line, then create a string builder, or we'll call it builder. It's equal to new string builder. Next, you write a while loop. While line is equal to br.readLine, and this is not equal to null. If that is the case, you add this line to the builder object. So builder.add of, sorry, builder.append of line. So till we reach the end of the line. Finally, we can display it on the text view. So the text view ID, you can get it by looking at the person result is the ID. So person result dot set text of builder dot toString. That's it. Now we are good to run the application right now. All right. If you hit on load, you get Krishna 35. Hmm? And after every line, if you append a backslash n, you will get the format properly. Now you should get Krishna and 35 one next to the other. Let us say you input Naresh, age is 15 or 14, whatever. If you hit on save, the data is saved. If you hit on load, the data is loaded. So this is how we can use the internal storage of Android. Now you may ask me, is that related only for .txt files? No, there are other formats also being supported. Please do a research, right? The concept remains the same. If you want to write to a file output stream, open file output method can be used. And if you want to read something from the file, use open file input method, right? So this is about the internal storage of Android. Okay. Any doubts here in this topic? Thank you, Akansha, for responding. So we will jump in onto learning external storage for Android. Guys, I do need a break for 2 minutes, if you don't mind. Thank you. Okay. Thanks, guys, for your patience. Let me take a break. First thing first, let me place this link in the material classroom link. Ah, nice. Okay. Now we shall see the external storage. How do we store data in the external? Um, okay. So this is going to be in two parts. External storage in Android, along with dangerous permissions in Android. I'm covering two topics in the place of one instead, because most of the permissions in Android are dangerous. Most of the permissions in Android are dangerous permissions. Dangerous, other meaning is sensitive permissions. So, in order to make use of them, so we'll understand what are permissions. In order to make use of them, we have a process to follow. We have to request them. We have to request those permissions to the user. So there is a process to follow in order to request them, or in order, okay, let's follow. All right. So I'll give you an example. Have you installed WhatsApp on your mobile devices? Have you installed WhatsApp on your mobile devices? Did you guys? Okay, cool. Thank you, Vakanksha and Shweta, for responding. As you install WhatsApp, when you are done with the registration process, you will be getting a pop-up asking you, would you like WhatsApp to access your contacts? Now you can decide to clicking on either allow or deny, isn't it? In the similar way, when you install Zomato, Swiggy, Ola, Uber, Rapido, these are some popular apps, right? When you install them, before you start making deals with them in the application through the application, you will be asked, and I mean, you will be getting a pop up asking you, would you like Zomato to access your location? You can either click on allow one time, allow when the app is in use, or deny. Correct? Have you seen it before? Have you seen it on other applications too? These kind of things on other applications too. Yes. The reason why we get these kind of permissions, or the reason uh, why the mobile applications take consent from our end, is because whatever they are requesting is sensitive. It is considered as personally identifiable information, PII in short. Okay. When this personally identifiable information has to be used, they are supposed to take consent from the user. Before 6.0, which is corresponding to Marshmallow, we do not have this kind of structure in Android. We used to use any kind of permission as per our requirement. From the developer's perspective, if we feel location is important to capture. We used to capture the location without even getting the consent from the user before 6.0. But from 6.0, sensitive or dangerous permissions are introduced. Okay. Now, most of the permissions, let us say, if you want to access context, if you want to access location, if you want to, um, yeah, if you want to access external or internal storage, something like that, you cannot do it directly now. You should take the consent from the user. The user should be properly updated about why you are using a particular kind of a permission, because nobody wants their data to be misused by somebody else. Correct? That is the reason sensitive permissions are introduced. So if you search for dangerous permissions in Android, you get a long documentation. See, request runtime permissions Android. This is a lengthy documentation, I would say. See, every Android app runs in a limited access sandbox. If your app needs to use resources or information outside of its own sandbox, you can declare a runtime permission. How to declare a runtime permission is again shown in this documentation, and set up a permission request that provides this access. These steps are part of workflow for using permissions. So there is a workflow to start using the permissions in Android. First, you have to decide if you can provide the functionality without actually declaring the permission. If yes, just do it. If no, if you cannot perform a particular functionality without actually declaring a permission, then the second step would be you declare the permissions in the manifest file, and then see if the permission is a runtime permission or not. Runtime permission in the sense the dangerous permission or the sensitive permission. If it is a sensitive permission, you go ahead and request the user for a permission. If he grants it, yes, you can fulfill the use case. If he does not grant it, if the permission is not a runtime permission, sorry, if the permission is runtime but the user did not grant it, then you cannot provide that functionality to the user. So this is the overall gist of the runtime permissions. Did you get it clearly? Guys, if you understand it clearly, please let me know, because without understanding this workflow, there is nothing important. Like you need not to work with sensitive permissions if you don't understand this. Sarfraz Khan raised his hand. All right. Now, how do we request a permission, and how do we yeah. So this kind of runtime permissions, how do we request them, and how do we get the consent from the user? Okay. So declaring app permissions, you know how to do it. You just have to use user's permission and then declare it. So coming back to the application, I'm closing this application because we are done with it. I'm creating a new one. I'll choose empty activity, hit next. I'll call it as external storage. Hit on finish to create the project. Okay, the project is created. Let's run this compile SDK and target SDK to 33. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to request permissions to the user. Today, by the end of the session, I'd like to teach you how to request a permission and get the user's consent. First, as we need for this application, we need external storage, write external storage, and also we need another permission called write internal storage. Sorry, read internal storage. Sorry, read external storage, not internal storage. Sorry. So write external storage, read external storage are required. And for write external storage, if you see, can do alt enter. You can add tools ignores scope storage. So you need to add this because if you want to write data to the Android 10 and above. Okay, previously we don't need to use it, but now we are supposed to use it. So write external storage and read external storage are two permissions we have. Now we need to request these permissions. These two permissions are very sensitive. Like the user has to grant the permission in order to let you read his or her files and create new files in their external memory or in their shared memory. Nowadays, phones are coming up with shared memories, meaning some part of the storage will be used for internal files and some part of the storage is used as an external storage. So in order to request a permission, if you see the documentation, you have got this check self permission method where you can check if a particular permission is granted or not. If not granted, you should show the requested permissions rationale and then there is another clear-cut documentation. Okay, no problem. For check if the calling or check self permission, check calling or self permission, use the string manifest dot permission dot read external storage. External storage. What? Android dot manifest dot permission dot read external storage. If this is not granted, package manager dot permission granted. If this is not granted, you can throw a rationale. Show request permissions. Now you request the new set of permissions, whatever are required. Android dot, sorry, it is Android dot manifest dot permission dot read external storage and also manifest Android dot manifest dot permission dot write external storage. Okay. And then you have to have a uniquely identifiable integer code. That's it, you're done. So if you run the application now, this is indeed a simple one. Actually, a simple one. There is much more complexity added to this. Slowly you can add much more complexity to this. So as soon as your app runs, you will be seeing a pop. Would you like external storage, which is the app name, to access your storage, something like that? You did not get a permission pop-up. Let me rerun this. Maybe the method is different. Request permissions. So should show request permissions rational. Okay, this one would be fine. Okay, run it. No, it's not working. Right, guys. I need to work on this latest update. This one, this one. Okay, I'll get back to you on this tomorrow. Right. I'll explain how this works in total. Right. So previously we just used to run request permissions dialog. Okay, let me try one last time. Okay, request request permissions, right? So I have written it correctly on language dot permission dot. Request code is also there. Do we require any other stuff? No, we don't. What if we remove this? Shall we directly run it? Yeah. Okay. Is it the same case with my other device? Let me check. Wait. See, as it runs, it is showing us the pop-up, right? In my other device. I think this device has some software issues. Anyway, I'll try to fix it. No issues. Okay. Let's see if the other logic also works properly. So first of all, let me get it back to normal mode, not dark mode. So if check calling or self permission, manifest. Okay. Why should I write everything? Is not granted. And the same again. The same we copy, paste it again. Oh, sorry. This is write external storage. Okay, now let us check it on my device. See, as you run it, you get to see allow and do not allow. If you hit on allow, then your permissions are granted. So where do we see these permissions? You can jump into settings first. Settings. And in the settings, if you see, there is applications, app management. Now you go to your own external storage app and see the permissions. And in the permissions, you get to see storage. See, no permissions are denied. Okay, so this information you can see. All right, tomorrow we'll discuss more, and also I'll see why the other device is not working for me. For this application, it raised many doubts in me, as if I'm missing out on a lot of updates. I don't usually miss out on updates. However, this is ridiculous. Like when the application is running on Motorola device, it is not showing up. It is running on Android 10, not even on a lower end version. Okay, no issues. So far you understood how the permissions are requested. So tomorrow we'll see the rest of the concept related to external storage. Till then, please take care. Have a good time. Take care.